Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel General Hospital Official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital spoilers: Carly and Brennan's relationship takes a turn. Is a baby on the way? General Hospital spoilers reveal that Carly Spencer has fallen hard for Jack Brennan. Their journey to Germany has had a positive impact on their love story, as seen by their recent romantic kiss. Fans, on the other hand, were taken aback by Laura Wright's modest message. It prompted the million-dollar question: is Carly having a baby with Brennan? Before you start thinking about baby names, let's go over the basics. General Hospital spoilers: is Carly expecting Jack's baby? Laura responds. According to General Hospital spoilers, the baby rumors began with Laura's post on X/Twitter. The actress addressed Jack Brennan's recasting, which saw Chris McKenna replace Charles Measure. Wright wrote, "Big love to Charles. And a big welcome to Chris McKenna. A big hug to all the fans. We love you so much and are so grateful for you all." She added. But, guess what? Laura closed her tweet with a mysterious hashtag #GHBaby, and viewers of the ABC soap lost it. One fan even directly wondered whether this indicated Carly and Jack were expecting a kid. Whatever the case, it could be one of the most bizarre theories. Wright, on the other hand, quickly dismissed that theory with a laugh, stating, "OMG no. So, there won't be a Carly-Jack baby anytime soon." And, come on, Laura is notorious for using the #GHBaby to express her excitement for impending stories. McKenna steps in to play Jack. Interestingly, Carly has a connection to unplanned pregnancies. Do you remember when she was pregnant with Donna Corinthos? The woman thought her baby days were over, but the GH writers threw her by surprise. Will they try it again? It's technically conceivable, but it doesn't appear that's what the program is planned. Carly and Jack are still going strong, and they've even started acting like soulmates. We're excited to witness McKenna's portrayal of Jack. So, while we may not meet Carly's baby, there is still much to look forward to in her life. And who knows, Laura might drop another dodgy hashtag to set the rumor mill going. General Hospital spoilers: will Sonny retire in 2025 and Jason reclaim the life he left behind? According to General Hospital spoilers, Jason Morgan has developed multiple personalities throughout the years. First, Quartermaine lost his memory of who he was in a horrible accident, which prepared him to play Sonny Corinthos' best buddy and right-hand man. Amidst it all, he became entangled with his twin brother Drew Quartermaine's personality. He is both stone-cold and a teary-eyed, sympathetic man who will go to any length for the people he loves, even if those people do not love each other. From enforcer to heir, Jason, recognized for his devotion to the mob and unrivaled ability to deal with its hazards, has always carried the Quartermaine blood, but with a troubled link to his family's past. But what if the tide is turning? What if the Quartermaine house, with its wealth, drama, and irresistible charm, begins to whisper to Jason in ways he cannot ignore? Will Sam McCall's death and return home push him to confront demons he believed he had abandoned in the past? Will Jason come home in a way that goes beyond simply living there? Hints: a new chapter begins. Imagine Jason standing in the magnificent halls of the Quartermaine estate, not as the prodigal son who fled, but as the one who has returned with a new purpose. This isn't about money or power, it's about legacy, healing old scars, and possibly discovering a side of himself he's long rejected. His decision to become Quartermaine could be motivated by a desire to protect the family from new threats, or it could be about providing his children, Danny Morgan and Jake Spencer, with a connection to their heritage that they have little knowledge of. Embracing his Quartermaine heritage would include confronting Ned Quartermaine, Monica Quartermaine, and all of the other family members with whom he has a tangled history. Can he traverse the maze of Quartermaine politics, where every family gathering is a battleground and every board meeting is a strategy session? The Quartermaine effect. This shift isn't only about business or family conflicts. It is profoundly personal. Jason's relationship with Elizabeth Baldwin, or possibly Carly Spencer, could take unexpected turns as he redefines his identity. Love at the Quartermaine estate is never easy, and with Jason's heart now torn between his mob ties and his current role, as well as his past and future, we're in for some dramatic events. Will he find love within these confines, possibly with Sasha Gilmore Corbin, or will the lure of his past be too strong? Brad's dangerous face-off, Sasha rips into Drew. Join GH today for danger, high drama, and shocking revelations. Brad Cooper threatens Cyrus Renault. Sasha Gilmore Corbin publicly criticizes Drew Cain Quartermaine. Also, Jocelyn Jax has an unexpected encounter that could change everything. Jocelyn Jax chance meeting. According to GH spoilers, Jocelyn will cross paths with someone unexpected. The promo clip doesn't reveal who Jocelyn is speaking to. However, Jocelyn smiles broadly and attempts to sound agreeable. Given that Jocelyn had just been cautioned not to interfere with the police investigation, this encounter appears to have the potential to change everything. While Joss is determined to bring Cyrus down, she is unaware that she is being closely monitored by Jack Brennan and the WSB. GH spoilers, Brad Cooper's dangerous face-off. Fans may recall that Portia Robinson recently prohibited Cyrus from visiting the hospital. Cyrus left, although he was visibly unhappy about it. In today's episode, Cyrus, on the other hand, will arrive at the hospital with confidence. In the preview, Brad orders Cyrus to leave the premises or he would contact the police. Cyrus does not appear to be terrified or unsettled at all. Instead, Cyrus appears to offer Brad an evil smirk. Meanwhile, Alexis Davis plans with Christina Corinthos Davis and Molly Lansing Davis. However, Christina declares that she believes this is a major mistake. Drew Cain Quartermaine was publicly blasted. General Hospital spoilers indicate that Carly Spencer publicly exposed Drew Cain Quartermaine before the Metro Court. While Carly chastised Drew for sleeping with Michael Corinthos' wife, the congressman insisted that Jason Morgan is Sasha's baby daddy. Expect Sasha to rush up to Drew and Carly. Sasha loudly tells Drew that he is gossiping about her life. Sasha may also say that no one should know who the baby daddy is. It's just like Carly to try to pry the truth out of Sasha. With Willow seeing that Sasha appears the most judgmental, it's only a matter of time before the truth is out. General Hospital spoilers. In today's episode, Nina Reeves is also expected to warn her daughter. Nina tries to convince Willow that this is where she needs to be. Willow, on the other hand, appears to be drawn back to Drew. The events leading up to this point had been building for weeks, but it all came to a climax when Rocco Falconeri found himself in the wrong place at the right time. A discussion he wasn't supposed to hear crept into his ears, words that made his blood run cold. He had always been perceptive, more so than the folks around him realized, and what he had just found was something he couldn't ignore. Not only did the reality about Sam's death send shivers down his spine, but so did the revelation of who was responsible. Cyrus Renault, the man whose shadow loomed over Port Charles like a storm cloud, had orchestrated it all. The crime boss had orchestrated her death, and now he walks the streets free of justice. Rocco's mind was racing with questions. How does this happen? Why hadn't the police done anything? His stepmother had been stolen from them, and the man who was responsible was still alive. Fury bubbled beneath his skin, an intense feeling he had never felt before. Sam had been like family to him, a constant presence in his life, and now she was gone. He realized he couldn't keep this to himself. There was only one person he trusted enough to share this burden with, Danny Morgan. Danny had been battling to make sense of his loss. Sam was more than simply his mother, she had always been his rock, the person who battled for him, protected him, and loved him unconditionally. Losing her had created a vacuum in his heart that no amount of comforting words could fill. He had always knew his mother's life was complicated and dangerous, but he never imagined it would come to this. When Rocco informed Danny what he had overheard, he felt as if the ground had been pulled from under him. The room blurred around him, his heart pounding in his ears. He thought Cyrus was involved, his instinct told him so, but seeing it proven was something else entirely. The two boys sat in quiet for what seemed like an eternity, the weight of their collective knowledge weighing down on them like an anvil. "We have to do something," Danny eventually stated, his voice rough with anguish. Rocco nodded. "But what?" "The cops won't do anything. If they were, they would have done it by now. Danny clutched his fists. He remembered his younger sister, Scout. She'd grow up without a mother today. He remembered the expression in his father's eyes. Jason Morgan had seen death many times, but losing Sam had destroyed something in him. Danny knew just who to blame. Cyrus Renault had taken everything from them. And now was the time to steal something from him. The concept was hazardous, dangerous, and absolutely insane, but neither of them bothered. It wasn't just about vengeance, it was about justice, about ensuring Cyrus never had the opportunity to harm anybody else again. They began preparing in secret, gathering in hushed tones, their minds racing with ideas. They didn't have much experience with this type of activity, but they knew enough from studying the folks around them. Port Charles was full of folks who lived in the gray, operated in the shadows, and knew how to solve problems without using the police. But before they could do anything, the news traveled quickly. Jocelyn Jacks had confronted Cyrus openly, pouring her rage for all to see. She had already lost one person she cared about, Dex Heller, and she was certain Cyrus was responsible. Her outcry drew even more attention to the culprit, and the walls were now closing in on him. Cyrus was no fool. He knew a storm was coming and had been prepared for it. With the PCPD on high alert and his opponents swarming like vultures, he knew he had to move quickly. He had previously underestimated the inhabitants of Port Charles, but he would not make that mistake again. Meanwhile, Danny and Rocco watched as the situation around them worsened. They weren't the only ones with Cyrus on their radar. Alexis Davis had made it known that she would not stop until her daughter's murderer paid. Dante Falconeri had spoken of revenge in terms that indicated he wasn't just talking about legal justice. Then there was Sonny Corinthos, the guy who based his empire on power, devotion, and vengeance. Cyrus had created a lot of enemies, and it appeared that they were all coming after him at once. Then came the moment that altered everything. A solitary gunshot sounded out in the night, breaking the unsettling silence that had crept over the city. Cyrus Renault slumped, blood spilling onto the concrete beneath him. Panic ensued immediately. People yelled, sirens rang, and anarchy erupted in seconds. Everyone had the same question in mind. Who'd done it? The list of suspects was infinite. Alexis had a motivation. Dante had a motive. Sonny had more reason than anyone else. Jocelyn had the gun. But as the research began, an unexpected hypothesis began to emerge. What if none of them were responsible? What if two bereaved adolescents had taken matters into their own hands? The simple concept caused a ripple of shock throughout the town. Had Danny and Rocco really gone that far? The proposal was unfathomable, but not impossible. The following few weeks in Port Charles would be nothing short of hectic. As investigators attempted to uncover the truth about Cyrus' murder, the city braced for the consequences. Secrets would be revealed, alliances would be strained, and the search for the real gunman would shock the town to its very core. In the midst of it all, two guys kept a secret that may change everything. Port Charles would never be the same again. Drew is hated by everyone on General Hospital. Where does he go from here? Everyone despises Drew. Should he depart Port Charles? Drew has fallen very far, very quickly on General Hospital. Almost everyone in Port Charles despised him. How much lower can the character go? Haters gonna hate. Drew changed dramatically following his time at Pentonville. From breaking up with Carly to attempting to send his daughter Scout to boarding school, his actions were odd at best. He still had a decent thing going. He changed his last name to Quartermain. Aurora was doing great. He was close to the family. Drew also ran for Congress. The not-so-smart affair with Willow sent him into a downward spiral. That was terrible enough, but when he escalated his bad behavior, the majority of Port Charles turned against him. The QS have barred him from the home and grounds. It takes a lot for Monica to turn against her children, but she refuses to speak with him. And don't forget about his old closest friend Curtis, whom he betrayed and now refuses to speak with. Is there a future for Drew in Port Charles? Stars in her eyes. Willow is the only person who still adores the congressman. She stares at him like he's the best guy in the world. Sure, he saved her life, but so did Curtis, Laura, and others. Why is she only looking at him with stars in her eyes? She still thinks he's the best, even though he told her to keep Michael's parents away from him, which she knew was wrong. After learning that Drew was sleeping with her mother, she hopes to see him through a different lens. Aside from his girlfriend, he has no one else in Port Charles. Even Scout would probably prefer to be with Dante and her boys than be stranded in a hotel room, partly by herself. Sam would be appalled. Drew is now a congressman, so maybe it's time to collect his belongings and go to Washington, D.C. Nobody would miss him. It's a shame because he used to be the most popular guy. At this point, he might not even be redeemable. Do you think Drew should leave Port Charles? Please let us know in the comments. Sasha is furious, Cyrus is evicted, Molly strategizes, and Nina is desperate. On the next episode of GH, Rick's interference, Brooklyn's reaction, Christina's distress, Nina's words of wisdom for Willow, Sasha's anger at Drew, and Brad's dangerous actions. Fans may anticipate the Davis sisters to strategize. Sasha Gilmore Corbin lashes out. Tracy Quartermaine is outraged. Lucas Jones also shares his thoughts with Carly Spencer. Molly Lansing Davis strategizes. According to GH spoilers, there is speculation that Sam McCall's death was not accidental. Alexis Davis informed Laura Collins that she would focus on Sam presenting a gift to Lulu Spencer. Alexis, on the other hand, is unlikely to be deterred from seeking the truth. Alexis is expected to strategize tomorrow with Molly Lansing Davis and Christina Corinthos Davis. However, a preview footage shows Christina claiming it was a major mistake. So there might be some dispute over what the Davis girls will do next. GH spoilers, Sasha Gilmore Corbin explodes. Over with Sasha, she recently realized that people are chatting. Sasha discovered that many people now mistake Jason Morgan for her baby's father. At the Metro Court, Sasha approaches Drew Kane Quartermaine and Carly, yelling angrily. Sasha warns them that they are gossiping about her life. Willow tates Corinthos' decision. According to General Hospital spoilers, Willow has decided to make yet another major life change. Willow and Drew think they are quite sneaky. However, Carly discovered Drew's tie, which he had forgotten before fleeing. Willow seems to have opted to move in with Drew. However, Nina Reeves expresses concern that this is exactly where Willow needs to stay. That would have been easier if the Quartermaines hadn't attacked Willow every other second. To be honest, I would flee too. I wouldn't run into Drew's arms, but somewhere else. General Hospital spoilers. In tomorrow's episode, Carly gets a lecture from Lucas. Tracy is outraged. Rick Lansing interrupts. Brad Cooper demands Cyrus Renault's arrest. Jocelyn Jacks also had a timely run-in. Even though Anna Devane urged Joss not to interfere with the investigation, the timing of her unexpected encounter could affect everything. Port Charles had seen many of strong personalities, but few could match Tracy Quartermaine's overwhelming might. She had long established herself as a lady who never gave up in a fight, a sharp-tongued force of nature capable of annihilating a person with a single stinging comment. Her presence alone could silence a room, and her stare could make even the most self-assured people question themselves. But something was different recently. Tracy was always unpredictable. On some days, she could be somewhat courteous, perhaps even pleasant, while on others, she could ruin life for those unfortunate enough to be in her orbit. Her mood swings have recently become practically unpredictable. At one point, she was passionately combative, as if daring the world to challenge her. The next moment, she appeared nearly lost in concentration, staring off with a distant look in her eye, as if she was struggling with something no one else could see. For those who knew her well, it was a disturbing change. Tracy had never been one to wear her emotions on her sleeve, but her unpredictable behavior had left others wondering what was going on behind the surface. Was she just being her regular cantankerous self, or was there something deeper going on? The most recent episode occurred at the spa, of all places, where Martin Gray decided he'd had enough of her pranks. With all of his rage, he confronted her, launching a diatribe that left even Brooklyn Quartermaine stunned. And that was saying something. Tracy, as usual, had taken everything in stride. While most individuals would have been upset or startled by such an outcry, Tracy simply laughed, as if enjoying the encounter. She thrived in strife, after all. And that was the issue. Tracy had always seemed to thrive on conflict, but was it possible that this time she was picking conflicts only for the sake of feeling something? The Quartermaine home had obviously evolved over time. It used to be a venue for intense family disagreements and high-stakes business talks, but it now had a new identity, one that Tracy, to be honest, did not like. Children's laughter rang through the halls more frequently than power plays. The once mighty walls of the Q estate now housed an ever-increasing number of young ones, from Wiley Corinthos to Amelia Corinthos, and with Sasha Gilmore expecting, another baby was likely to join the mix shortly. Perhaps this was one of the reasons for Tracy's developing hatred. She had never been one for sentimentality, nor had she been particularly friendly with children. Tracy had raised 2 sons, but she had never been the caring, doting mother. She had been ambitious, clever, and fiercely independent, characteristics that had served her well in business but had frequently caused her to clash with those closest to her. As she watched the Quartermaine house change into what she saw as little more than a glorified daycare, she felt even more out of place than she had before. And she wasn't the only one to notice. Her son, Ned Quartermaine, had gently suggested a new method. Jason Morgan, her nephew, had urged her not to make more enemies than she already had. Tracy, however, refused to be instructed what to do. The question remained, was she actually furious at people around her, or was she merely acting out because she didn't know what else to do? Her animosity for Willow Tate and Drew Kane had only grown in recent months. Their affair had occurred right beneath her roof, which she saw as a personal insult. However, her contempt for them extended beyond their transgressions. Tracy was never one for vulnerability, and she was certainly not one to forgive weakness, real or perceived. Willow and Drew embodied a gentleness that she couldn't bear. They had harmed those around them, made blunders, and yet were still awarded leniency. In Tracy's universe, things did not function that way. She had spent her entire life battling for every ounce of authority she had ever had, facing betrayals and disappointments, and learning that kindness was a liability. And yet, Willow, a lady who had frequently made questionable decisions, was nonetheless welcomed with open arms. Drew, despite his weaknesses, still had people at his side. It was infuriating. And perhaps it was what gnawed at Tracy. Perhaps she was starting to ponder what her life might have been like if she had done things differently. If she had been more open and eager to let others in, rather than keeping them at arm's length. If she had allowed herself to believe that love and loyalty were not mere flaws to be exploited. But it was too late for that. Was it not? The trouble was that people weren't as eager to dismiss Tracy as she had expected. Despite her best efforts to shoo them away, many remained concerned. Brooke Lynn had attempted to contact Tracy more than once, but was met with Tracy's normal defenses. Ned kept checking up on her, even when she said she didn't need him to. And now, as more people noticed the flaws in her meticulously crafted armor, there was rising fear that something needed to be done before it was too late. Tracy would dismiss the concept of an intervention. She'd ignore it outright, claiming that she was okay and that everyone else was just acting dramatic. But those closest to her were beginning to realize the reality. Tracy Quartermaine stood at a crossroads. She could continue along the route she had always taken, doubling down on her frigid veneer to keep the world at far. Or, for once, she could admit that she might not have to face everything alone. The ensuing weeks would determine which course she took. But one thing was certain, Tracy Quartermaine was not as untouchable as she let everyone believe. And sooner or later, the truth would catch up with her. Laura Wright apologizes to her General Hospital co-star, Cameron Matheson. Laura Wright revealed that a day after Cameron Matheson lost his home, her character Carly had to rage at Drew, so she apologized ahead of time. Drew has recently been portrayed as a shady guy on General Hospital, causing many fans to loathe him. Cameron Matheson, who plays Drew, experienced a real-life catastrophe when his home was destroyed by the Los Angeles wildfires. Fans overcame their dislike for Drew to show compassion for Matheson. In the midst of this turbulence, his co-star Laura Wright felt compelled to apologize to Matheson for a work-related issue. She apologized before she yelled at him. Things have been strained on GH, especially since Drew has been sleeping with Willow, his nephew's wife. The nephew in question is Carly's son, Michael, who was severely burned after the bomb went off. Drew has been continuing his affair with Willow, which has enraged Carly to the point of yelling at him. EW got a sneak peek at the Jennifer Hudson show, which featured several GH cast members as guests. Wright was among them, and she said that the timing of her moments with Matheson and the burning of his house was dreadful. "I had to yell at Cameron," she added, referring to the day after his tragic incident. "I had to approach Cameron and ask, 'Can I hug you?' Because I'm about to start yelling in your face." He felt she was sweet. Matheson thought her statements amusing and responded, saying, "She came up and apologized first. My character has a reason to get screamed at right now." He surely does, since Carly discovered a tie she'd given Drew when they were dating sticking out of Willow and Michael's couch. Meanwhile, poor Michael is recovering in Germany, where he is receiving experimental burn treatments. Matheson continued, saying, "Laura was extremely kind. She's like, 'I'm so sorry, but I've got to lay into you today after you just lost your house and everything you possess.'" He also mentioned that the destruction of his family's home was an almost unbearable trauma. However, he remained optimistic, saying, "It's just so disconcerting, but at the same time, we're all going to go through it step by step, day by day, and put the pieces back together." LA strong. Cody has loose lips, and everyone knows Sasha's baby daddy rumor. There is so much going on General Hospital right now that it's almost impossible to keep up, so here's a summary of today's episode to help you keep up. Today's opener has Carly Spencer and Jack Brennan on a private flight back from Germany. They discuss their trip in Germany and how, despite not staying the night, they remained focused on each other. Jack receives a call and learns the location of Sidwell's new home Windmere. Once in town, he visits Spoon Island to see it for himself. He decides not to go in yet. Anna worries that Joss may ruin her investigation. Anna Devane arrives for a chat with Jocelyn Jacks, and she informs her that it is about Dex Heller, but not in the way she expected. She informs Joss that Dex was injected with Digitalis, which resulted in a heart attack. Joss inquires whether Anna has spoken out against Cyrus Renault, and she responds that she does not have sufficient evidence to do so. She informs Joss that Cyrus has been banned from General Hospital, and Joss informs Anna that she has volunteered to assist at Turning Woods, where Cyrus also volunteers. She reminds Anna that she may do whatever she wants because she is not Anna's employee. The commissioner is concerned that Joss may jeopardize her inquiry. Drew sneaks a visit with Willow, and Carly knows. Despite being barred from the Queriturmain estate, Drew Quartermain sneaks into the gatehouse to see Willow Corinthos. They discuss how awkward it is for her to be back on the property. Willow wants to make things work for the kids so that they may spend time with their entire family. Drew leaves, and Carly pays Willow a visit. She delivers toys from Germany for Amelia and Wiley and informs Willow that Michael instructed her to say thank you. Willow offers Carly a cup of tea, and as she heads to the kitchen to prepare it, Carly discovers Drew's tie on the couch. Carly leaves before Willow returns with the tea. She then calls the clinic in Germany and begs them to inform Michael that his children adore him. Cody continues to spread rumors about Sasha. Cody Bell gives Selena Wu $10,000 and promises to have another $5,000 in a month. She gives him a way out of his debt by participating in another poker game. He says he'll think about it and then leaves. Drew introduces himself to Selena, and the two discuss Aurora. He wonders if she was Curtis Ashford's silent partner at the Savoy, and if she's prepared to reveal any information. She is confident she can find anything if the terms are mutually beneficial. Cody interrupts their conversation to say that he isn't interested in Selena's earlier offer. He sees Drew and is relieved to see that the congressman is precisely who he believes he is. Drew says they're having a serious business meeting, and Cody can't stop talking. He discusses the congressman sleeping with Willow and Jason getting Sasha pregnant. General Hospital recap: Lucky and Liz are getting closer. Lucky Spencer and Elizabeth Baldwin discuss how he talked Jason Morgan off of killing Jen Sidwell L. Lucky also tells Liz how he and Sidwell played cards to keep alive. He describes how sleep deprivation hampered his playing and increased his nervousness. Lucky believed that his father and Liz had helped him live. Lucky tells Liz that he saw her in a vision while injured and being held captive. He thought he was nearing the end of his life until she paid him a visit. He claims that the vision commanded him to get up from the floor and fight. He reveals that he has brought her with him wherever he has gone in the world. Lucky informs her that he doesn't need her to be an angel, he simply needs her to be herself. The ex-partners dance together and appear to be on the verge of reconciling. Everyone is at the Metro Court. Isaiah Gannon approaches Sidwell after he is seen drinking with Jordan Ashford at the Metro Court. He asks Sidwell if he is returning to murder him for good this time. They trade barbs in front of Jordan, and she tells Isaiah that he is interfering with their chat while Lucy Coate intervenes to attempt to break things up. Isaiah tells Lucy that Sidwell's money is blood money and then goes. Jordan asks Sidwell directly what the issue is between him and Gannon. The importer claims Gannon was his personal physician who disliked his working conditions. Brooke Lynn Quartermaine prepares for a deception meeting, and Tracy Quartermaine is the first to arrive. Lulu Spencer arrives next, and Tracy chastises her for being late. Maxie Jones and Lucy arrive, and the meeting begins. Felicia Scorpio and Sasha Corbin are eating dessert at an adjacent table when the topic of the baby comes up. Felicia asks Sasha if she may obtain the medical records of her child's father so that she can learn about his background, and Sasha is humiliated. She then tells her that she can definitely obtain that information. Anna agrees to meet Drew at the Metro Court, where he announces that eliminating organized crime in Port Charles would be one of his major goals, beginning with Jason and Sonny Corinthos. Before Anna can react, Carly walks in and tells Drew that she has the tie he left at Michael's house after having sex with Willow, and she says it loudly enough for the entire restaurant to hear. Carly bought that tie for him, and she wants Tracy, Sasha, Brooke Lynn, Maxie, and Anna to see how sad he is. She claims she is delighted Jason beat him up since he is a better man than Drew. Drew informs everyone that the joke is on her because Jason knocked up Sasha, and the entire diner gasps and then stares at her. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.